BB Landers. And we can grab him if there's anyone from the Dayton area that needs a little extra time afterwards. But we'll open up with questions for BB. Front row, Bill Rabinowitz.
What's the level of excitement of going against an offense and a quarterback like Baker Mayfield?
The excitement is very high, just seeing top-notch competition like that. And I know as far as the D-line goes, we're all looking forward to playing against high-level competition just to kind of see where we at, kind of gauge where we truly are and where are some things we need to work on against a top-notch team and what are some things we're good at but could also possibly enhance. So it's going to be fun just to primarily see where we are, not so much as where they are.
And how different a challenge will be? Lego was much more of a pocket passer. Mayfield improvises, moves around. How much of a challenge will it be?
It's going to be very challenging. They have a very solid and next level offensive line, and then you add Baker Mayfield into the equation. He's a very versatile quarterback. He can beat you with his feet and with his arm. So it's going to be very challenging, not only up front but also for our secondary. And looking forward to see how we do.
Far left, Lori.
They return all 5 starters from the offensive line from last year. What do you remember about that battle? What do you remember specifically about Orlando Brown? I can't imagine very often that you guys go up against a guy who's 6'8", 345.
The one thing about Orlando Brown is he's very aggressive. He's one of those guys who he doesn't really let his size kind of hinder him from going up against top-notch competition. He has pretty good feet, great hands. Like I said, he's very aggressive. He'll finish you off, and he's definitely a next level, next caliber type of player.
Over here to the right, Clay.
BB, how disappointed were you when they overturned the call?
Oh man, I was heartbroken. That's every fat boy's dream. Hey, one thing too, people who keep calling me fat on Twitter, I'm not fat. It's a little thick around the edges. So let's get that out there now. But yeah, in my book it still counts. So I'm not even paying attention to it being over. Them calling it back. But I can say it is a moment I'll never forget, whether it count or not.
Are you aware that Billy Price says you're 5'10"?
Billy always talking about me. He barely 6'1" himself, so I ain't worried about it. And the ball.
Second row left, Ari.
Sorry, I was just tweeting. So, the defensive line that you guys have assembled is about as deep as any in college football. Can you explain to me after one game through it, how it felt, how the rotation went? Were you tired at any point in the game? And did you feel like the rotation in general with all the players that you guys have was a pretty effective way of going about it?
The rotation, in my opinion, is very effective. It's what we do, and it's what we're comfortable with, and it's something that we've really enhanced. And like I said, the best thing, especially with our D-line, is nobody has an ego and nobody's selfish. So, I'm just as excited that Taekwon made a play. Sometimes Taekwon is more excited for me that I made a play than I am for myself. That's just, kind of how we are. And us rotating the way that we do, it always keeps the tempo and the pace of the game at a high level. And you tend to see sometimes it's very difficult for a lot of teams to really keep up with that tempo.
Now, to go, that play that you almost made or that you did make, it happened in the third quarter, and it probably took a lot of energy for you to be able to scoop the ball up like that and take it to the house the way you did. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like you could have made that play in another scenario where you had been playing the entire game, or do you think that the idea of something like that happening was a result of being fresh in a rotation?
As far as making a play on the ball and pursuing to the ball would have still been the same, but the amount of energy that I had to exert to get in the end zone, no. I would have probably got tackled as soon as I picked it up. But, that comes with the way we rotate. It's always fresh bodies, it's always fresh legs, and like I said, the tempo and the pace and the energy level in the game is always high.
Couple more questions. Front row left, Doug.
Would you detail your athleticism for us? You said you're not fat. You're not. Talk about when you're this kind of athlete. Just describe how you would describe your athleticism.
I would say my biggest thing for me is just I'm very quick off the ball and I hold my weight very well. It's kind of genetics. A lot of people in my family, as far as my brothers and my mom, we're not really fat and hefty, but I feel like I hold the weight that I have pretty well. But I'm very explosive through my hips and through my legs and my first step, and with me being as short as I am, at times it makes it harder for a lot of offensive linemen to handle kind of that changeup. For my position, a lot of players are used to, guys that are 3+, 6'4". Well, About 285, maybe 6 foot on a good day. So it really just it's a big change up, and it really helps also with our rotation just because, for instance, me and Tracy are 2 different style nose guards. You know, his body type is completely different from mine. So a change up like that sometimes very difficult for a lot of O-linemen to deal with.
And everybody loves fat guy touchdowns in college football. Is there a better name we can come up with than fat guy?
I ain't really thought about that. I just wanted to make sure I said that I wasn't fat. Just a little thicker.
And last question,
I'll think of something. I'll get back to you on that later on.
far left, Bill.
Was it an insult that he was trying to steal the ball from you? And also, as a guy who makes a lot of tackles, assess yourself as being hard to tackle or hard to bring down?
No, honestly, I didn't take it so much as an insult. You know, he was doing what he's taught, make a play on the ball more than try to make a tackle. You know what I mean? And, you know, if we didn't practice scoop and score, tuck the ball high and tight, because that's something we do, I know, for every day in pre-practice before we start practice, while we're in practice. So that was kind of something that I have repped numerous occasions, thousands and thousands of times. But most are like defensive linemen you see might get a scoop and score, they hold it out here, or just hold it all loose like this. So his first instinct was to probably try to punch it out, rip it out. That would have been mine too, because that's what he's taught. No, I'm taught high and tight. Sir?
How hard are you to tackle?
I don't know, that's my first time actually doing that, so I can't tell you that. I couldn't tell you that, but that was my first time doing it, so I would say it might be pretty difficult, so I don't know.
Great. Robert, thank you very much.
Appreciate you.
We'll take him every week, by the way.
Appreciate